Captain Paul for the Locker Room here. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. We're trying to reach 1,500 before the end of the month, so 3 days for 300, that's a little bit of a stretch, but let's go into it. The Tampa Bay Lightning are still a threat. They beat the Boston Bruins 3-2, and it kind of goes to show their top-end talent, they can compete with anyone. It was a really good hockey game to watch. I am a Bruins fan. Yes, they lost, but it was very entertaining. It was definitely not a boring game to watch. Now, let's go into why the Tampa Bay Lightning are still relatively dangerous. You have Brandon Point and Kucherov with 49 and 68 points respectively. Steven Stamkos is still doing his thing with 24 goals, 31 assists for 55 points in 46 games played. But the one guy that I've been really impressed with the Tampa Bay Lightning is Brandon Hagel. 46 games played, 18 goals, 22 assists for 40 points. He is only 24 years old, and it seems like he's taking that next step in his development, and at only a $1.5 million cap hit this year and next, I think the next contract is definitely going to get a pay bump, but for a Tampa Bay Lightning team with zero cap space, having guys like this produce is really important for them to stay competitive. And a few other notables that I will mention: Killorn with 34 points, Paul and Colton with 26 and 20 points respectively. They have a solid top 9 and I think a top 6 that could play with anyone in the league. Let's get into the defense. Victor Hedman's still a big, imposing force to face. 43 games played, 2 goals, 29 assists for 31 points, leading the team with time on ice with over 24 minutes. Mikhail Sergachev with 44 games played, 6 goals, 27 assists for 33 points. He's still being really productive. And you've had Nick Perbex come in, younger defenseman, 24 years old, 36 games, 4 goals, 8 assists for 12 points. He's just been very solid, and that is what you need on this team. You need a bunch of cheaper-ish contracts coming in and contributing, whether they be older or younger, to help this team sustain playoff hopes. And let's get into the goaltending. Andrei Vasilevsky's been solid this year in 34 games played, 21 wins, 12 losses, 1 overtime loss, with a .917 save percentage, a 2.54 goals against average. He's done very solid. Is it usual Vasilevsky type numbers? No, but to be fair to him, he's been a little dinged up this year, and this is a different Tampa Bay Lightning team. So is the Tampa Bay Lightning a legitimate threat for the Stanley Cup? And you know what? I'm going to say yes. They have the goaltender in Vasilevsky. Nobody can deny that. When he is on his game, he's one of the best goalies in all of the world. When you have key young players like Hagel coming in and contributing, with 40 points in 46 games played, you have Point, you have Kucherov, you have Stamkos, you have Killorn, you have some good secondary scoring with Paul and Colton, and Corey Perry on the fourth line with 18 points in 46 games. That's still relatively productive. I'm not going to say their D-core blows you out of the water. The two guys that would be Hedman and Sergachev, but Bogosian's solid. Perbex has been good. Ian Cole's a very good bottom pairing defenseman. I'd say the same thing with Cernak. They're not super out of this world talented, but they play a well-rounded game. The key core of the Tampa Bay Lightning have been into the playoffs, have won a Stanley Cup, have done back-to-back, have been a threat every single year. So it would be me doing a disservice to say that they would not be a legitimate contender, because when I'm looking at this Atlantic Division, the only team that I see has winning experience in the playoffs would be the Boston Bruins. Toronto has been a very good regular season team, but then they fall apart. Buffalo, not so much. Florida, Detroit, Ottawa, Montreal. Obviously, a few of them are definitely not going to make the playoffs, but none of them have a winning pedigree in the playoffs. And until they prove to me that they can win in the playoffs, I'm always going to pick Tampa Bay over them. Like, if Toronto played Tampa, I'm picking Tampa just because of their playoff pedigree. Where do I realistically see them finishing? I could see them going to the second round or third round. I do think overall the Bruins are a deeper team, but if Tampa Bay line matches correctly, all their guys stay healthy, and Vasilevsky turns into that prime goalie that he usually is in the playoffs, they're going to be an extremely tough out, and I know I wouldn't want to play him. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you think the Tampa Bay Lightning have a legitimate shot of winning a Stanley Cup this year? I'm Captain Paul for the Locker Room, and I will see you in the next video.
And the Lightning are